Hi, guys. My name is Kim,
And I'm Abby.
and this is
Calabasas.
Cultura. Hi, Abby. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you, Kim?
I'm good. I'm so sleepy today. I got so much done. Today was very much like a productive day. I don't know if you want to talk about it, Abby, but we got this like
Yeah, spill it all.
astrological oh my girl. We got this astrological reading. So you guys may know from our podcast, from her Instagram, and from all the incredible things she does. Emma Witchbrook on Instagram. We've had her on our podcast twice, and it's gonna be like 700 billion times after too per. She also started her podcast again. It's Woes of a Witch, and literally her first fucking episode was like a 10 out of 10.
So
But
good.
right? We did an astrological and like chart reading with her a few days ago, and it was the most intense, like it was almost like a spiritual mentorship kind of thing. But it was the most intense experience, like for her to examine our chart in all of its capacity, what is trine, what is squaring, and the way in which it impacts in all of these different aspects of our life. So she was pretty much like for me at least, like, I'll talk a little bit about mine. I still need to listen to the recording because I blacked out on some parts. Um,
Me too.
but it was really about releasing. I, for a very long time, have carried a lot of generational trauma and, um, just even my own burdens and just carried it through the day to day and kind of acted like it didn't exist and acted like it never impacted me. Um, but from her examination of, like, my planetary alignment, like, it was so embedded in how I pretend that things don't exist in order to keep moving forward. A bitch is like a shark, okay? I keep moving or I fucking die. And so she's teaching me how to slow down, but be very
Yeah.
intentional with the way in which we slow down. And so I, like, cleaned the house from top to bottom yesterday. I was like, "Boom, boom. I'm taking care of everything so that this weekend, I do nothing."
Yeah, I know that's right.
Nada. And I am so appreciative. We have another session with her soon. But yeah, so like if anyone is interested in really kind of getting into a bit more of a dive deep or getting a bit more into a deep
Getting
dive
more
when it
into a
comes
dive
to
deep.
getting more into a dive deep with the deep dive and Emma, like dead ass. I sincerely suggest checking in with Emma. It's Emma Witchbrook or Emma Westbrook, and she's on Instagram and she's amazing. Abby, how was yours? Like, how was? I mean, I was there, so it was real cool. But like for those that
Well,
weren't,
mine
how
is
was
just
yours?
as mine is just as was expected. Emma is my Aries twin. And I knew she was gonna go off for real. I knew she was gonna go off. We talked about like my Mercury placements and how it's in
Yeah,
Aries and then how that connects with like Jupiter and all that. I'm gonna leave that up to Emma because she's so good at that and she's teaching me her ways for real.
yeah,
But I like how it
yeah,
connected to me being aligned with sharing my voice on a podcast. Like my Mercury
yeah,
and Aries very much is the pioneer of communication.
yeah. 100%. And
But
also,
I've
like,
always
I love
thought
that
that
you.
I never like really wanted to. I always wanted to, but I was always too scared, and I kind of
Yeah,
related that to I don't want to, but I
yeah.
did want
It's a
to.
defense mechanism.
I wanted it
Yeah,
so bad I
and
couldn't do it,
mm-hmm.
but now I'm doing it. So
It's we fear what we want most
yeah,
sometimes. Um, and no, I agree. And I love that you brought that up because like I think having this conversation with Emma really brought up a lot of like our whys, like why we do this,
hmm
why we talk about these things, why we engage in these practices. And so we knew what our topic was going to be today, but we've refined it a little bit more to kind of match this new phase that we are entering into in our Atabasis. But before we get towards our Atabasis, we have to get into our Catabasis. And so today I am so excited. I am so honored. I am literally freaking out to get to
girl,
interview. Shut the fuck up.
girl.
Sorry. I was ready. Anyway, I feel so honored and so excited and like just so litty titty to get to interview the amazing siren sorceress, incredible witch, powerful being, beautiful person, Miss Abby Devon. And so, Abby, you are going
Thank
to
you for
teach
that
us so
introduction, Kimmy, even though you're biased, but I still believe you from the heart.
uh
So thank you.
shut the fuck. I'm a Libra, okay? One thing about me is we harmonious, okay? So I say what I need to say, what I need to say it. Anyway, Abby, I have a lot of questions for you, and all of them are really on the basis of your practice. But before we
Mhm.
jump into that, I kind of want to get a bit more of an introduction on who you are and how you represent yourself before we really jump in.
Okay. So I'm Abby, obviously, as most of y'all know, but
Mm.
I'm also from the South. I have family in Alabama, Louisiana. Hades candle just crackled. Hades
I
candle.
made it.
Oh my God, hang on. Sorry. Hang on. Fire safety, guys. Just
Good
checking.
job.
Anyway, even if it's a sign, doesn't matter. Still check.
Yep.
Anyways,
Sometimes fire safety
so
always.
yeah, but I'm a Hellenic polytheist in the South. I say Hellenic polytheist. I have a very close knit of deities that I work with. For now, I I'm sure that could change in the future, and I do
Yeah.
work with pretty much all of the Greek gods, but I work with a select few more closely, I guess you could say. And also, the first and foremost, I'm very much a chaos witch, obviously. And I've also worked with deities and still do with outside of the Hellenic pantheon, like Lilith. And actually like one of the first deities I worked with was Lucifer, but we'll get into that.
Yeah.
And but the first ever deity I worked with was Hecate, and like she got me into witchcraft. Um and then I would say, like, pretty much right after Hecate, I met someone who had this title. Not that the title meant anything, but what she could do, I just never heard of. Not because she created it or anything, but she was a conjurer. And there's many out there. And that kind of set my relationship off with um water spirits, specifically like sirens. So naturally, me working with the sirens creates inspiration for me. It started out more so as poems and like filling out their energy, but it very quickly became protection magic because I feel like that's one of their big things, and I think that gets overlooked a lot with sirens, but they're very
Yeah.
protective. And along the way, I just found myself like very much as that archetype, but so much more.
Yeah. I love that. I love that so much. And I love the path that you've taken. Um I think there's always that fear of changing your mind. I know for
Mhm.
some pantheons, like it's not really something that you do, but when it comes to like Greek, with polytheism and things like that, specific to your religion and your spiritual practice, it's okay to change your mind. It's
Yeah.
okay to be led into one path or one part of your
Mhm.
journey and find that like you taught me so much in this journey of my life, and now we're transitioning and metamorphosizing into something different. And so I really resonate with that, and that's really, really awesome that you gave yourself the opportunity to engage in all of these different spaces until you found your home, you found your space.
Yeah, yeah. And that's how I knew the path was for me because like I can't
Yeah,
stop. Like I am on this path, but I'm
yeah,
also heavily into my research with
yeah,
Babylon and Dilemma. Not that I practice Dilemma, I'm just in my studies with it currently, and like Inanna and
yeah,
Ereshkigal, that too. That's completely two different. I mean, that's ancient Mesopotamia or Sumer. Like
yeah,
it's completely different. So with everything being everywhere at once, I'm very much a student before anything. So
yeah.
I should have led with that, but yeah.
I know, but you got there. It was a full circle moment. I don't know what you're talking about.
Mhm.
It is, yeah, and I love that. I love we are students and we will always be students, so I love that, and so
Yeah.
I wanna kind of transition a little bit into where you are now and what your home is now, which is in the underworld, which is chthonia, and so I know that when we started this podcast, um we really wanted to bridge the gap between the both of us, between both of our
Yeah.
spaces and who we are and what we represent, which is Calabasas cultura. It is the descent, but also the merging of different spaces as people from the South or people from the island or people who are Hellenic polytheists or people who work with Santa Muerte. This is a space to
Or even
really
like a Nana, and then
or Nana
Nana's
or
descent, like,
Ishtar or
but it's
yeah, like
different language,
I
yeah,
Mhm,
and
and
that's where the
so
cultura comes in.
and that's where the cultura comes in, and so having these spaces to be able to do that and to integrate all of this and create these communities and
Mhm,
also create these spaces of learning. Us learning from others when we kind of post on TikTok and Instagram and we get these comments and these questions, like, we are actively learning and creating this dialogue that I'm so proud to be a part of because we'll never be in a space of, like we will always have humility first, and so
mhm,
transitioning into this space, I wanna learn from you, and that's why I'm really excited about today because now I'm gonna sit and learn from you, and we're gonna have this opportunity to share all the knowledge that you have been collecting through this time. Um, so right now you're in your space and in your home with Persephone and Hades. Why? Why Persephone and Hades? What led you to this space?
um, so, first of all, back to the Lucifer of it all,
Yeah,
I worked with Lilith first, um, I always thought about Persephone in the back of my mind, working with Hecate, learning about her story as like the torchbearer, I would say. So it
yeah,
probably, if we want to be technical, started with Hecate. But as I started working with Lilith, I saw myself like a lot in her also, like I kind of do Persephone. And so here's where the unholy matrimony comes into it all. Because it
yeah,
seems to Lilith like just escorting Lucifer right on in. And I think during that time, that was like, I was really into it, but I was also trying to like unpack my religious trauma. And I think he really helped me with that. I would have never, I'm not comparing the two, but I would have never had that relationship with I would never have the relationship that I have with Hades now if I didn't unpack that with Lucifer first.
yeah,
Because I saw him as the morning star rather than what I've been taught growing up. And
yeah,
so Hades piqued my interest specifically because I always felt like the black sheep, like in the South, obviously. In the underworld, in the South, for me, like mirror each other, just like me and Persephone mirror each other. The two go hand in hand. Um, and like I also find myself attracted to like unholy matrimony as a queer person in the South too. Given the fact that Lilith and Lucifer are in hell, the underworld, and then Persephone and Hades are also in the underworld. And I kind of
yeah,
it kind of reminds me of me and my partner's relationship with she's a woman and she identifies as a woman and so do I. And being in the South, it makes you really have that Calabasas experience. Like you
yeah.
descend, you go down south. I mean, Persephone herself, I feel like, got pulled down south, but she also became the queen of it.
Mm,
So I have no choice but to and to use my voice like she did after her
yeah.
catabasis. And I'm at the point where I'm toward the end of my catabasis. I'm at my atabasis. And that means, especially now what's all going on in the South, speaking the fuck up
Yeah.
when we're redistricting we're redistricting a state that's 50-50 at heart. I'm not sure if you know that or not. A lot of northern leftists I met are shocked by that, but it's called gerrymandering, and the South has been that way from the start because the
Yeah.
South is built on the backs of people of color, and nobody knows what to deal with that, so they automatically act classist.
Yeah.
So the
And so
underworld
you've
in the South, there's beauty in the underworld and there's beauty in the South, but there has to be a level of judgment, just like there happens in the underworld. And I
yeah.
feel like I'm here to do that just as Persephone does in her domain.
So with like what you're speaking about, you kind of feel like in these spaces with Hades and Persephone, it's not just the devotion. It's not just their connection to their hymns, their stories. It is also the connection and the reflection of your own life of like, and I
Yeah.
love that. I love that because we do like that's what a lot of our hymns are for. It's for us to see the humanity within deities and
Mhm.
divinity and see ourselves
Exactly.
through that as well. It's lessons, it's
And
learning.
you
And
can
so
see it so
uh
many different ways.
yeah, and so I
Mhm.
love how you see it of it's learning and growing through these spaces in order to like it's almost like a call for action of like
Yeah.
I can do all these things. I can be all these different things. I am all of these different things, but how can I do more? How can I grow more?
Mhm.
How can I use these transformations as a way to help the collective?
Yeah,
And so
that's
I love that
exactly
you
why
brought that up.
Persephone sorry, that's exactly why Persephone has the epithet, bringer of justice.
Yeah, like that's amazing. And so I
So
really love
that is
that.
the pinnacle of mine and her
Yeah.
practice, among with other things. But,
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. But I
that's
love
the
that.
yeah, that's when we get our hands dirty. We play in glamour magic
Yeah.
too.
Absolutely, we need to have that duality, but I really,
Mhm.
really appreciate you talking about these things, like, because
Yeah,
we are in a
it's not all
s
sunflowers and pomegranates.
no,
Sometimes
no,
it's
oh my
skulls
god.
and bones.
Although
So
and sometimes it's skulls and bones, and within chthonic spaces, I think that that's the beauty of it, it's having both.
yeah.
It's being able to create, like, even, like, when you were talking about Hecate, like, being able to hold the torch, hold the lantern in darkness and
Yeah.
find the light, and so I really, really appreciate your connection to activism and the things that are going on in our world
Mhm.
today being a reflection of these stories that we are growing, we are developing, we are moving through spaces, but as we do that, we need to support the collective in whatever way
Yeah.
we can, whether that's donating or
Mhm.
talking about it or learning about it. And
Yeah.
so I am so appreciative of you bringing this up because these are things that are happening in our world today.
We didn't vote for it. Like, you know what I mean? You can't just turn away because that means you're turning away from everybody.
Yeah,
But
I
the
agree. And
South
like,
is horrendous. It's disgusting. It has a nasty, nasty fucking past.
yeah,
And you can't forget it. You have to actually examine it with like a fine-tooth comb because if you don't, then here we are now. History is repeating itself because our leaders didn't do that.
yeah. And the beautiful thing,
Nothing
like
happened
literally,
after the Civil War. Nothing happened
yeah,
but rot.
yeah.
It's the
And
South
we
is
also
just decaying. So
we also have to examine of just like from all of this pain, like even like when I went to New Orleans and I visited these spaces, like you can feel the energy and the
mhm,
pain and all of these things and all of this destruction. And
mhm,
I also felt the power and the community and the ways in which individuals of color in these spaces
mhm.
grew into something so beautiful. And so
Yeah.
it's holding both of those with grace. It's holding both of those with honor of like these things occurred here. These things happened here.
Mhm.
And we
And
need to
people are trying
examine
to
it.
erase that, and I think it's even more
Mhm.
that's even more of a reason for us to be talking about that.
For us to be talking about it and carrying our whatever we can do to support and making space for those that deserve to be heard. And I think that's also like you talking about Persephone and I know her epithets of the bringer of justice and all of these different things of her ability. and her relationship with Hades and their connection to making sure she is heard and creating
Mhm.
spaces where those who are lost are found again. And so having that duality of spirituality and faith and having it in a place of activism and action and all of these different things, I think working hand to hand with those are just so important. And so I really thank you for talking about this because a lot of people get really uncomfortable by it, but we need
Mhm.
to sit in uncomfortable
I mean,
conversations
and
and hold ourselves.
I would be lying if I said that I wasn't uncomfortable, but, like, I have to
Yep.
be. I have
Yeah.
to be. I don't have a choice. What a privilege it is to be uncomfortable, and I've sat with that a
Yep.
lot, and like, said that to myself so much, and it really
Yeah.
puts things into perspective.
It
What
does. It
privilege I
does.
have to talk about it.
Yeah, and we use that, and we use that, and it's a call to action. So
Mm.
I love this. I love how Persephone that's so Persephone and Hades coded. But this is like just to like, oh yeah, yeah, we're gonna talk about like the underworld and stuff, but we're gonna talk about this first. Like that's I love that so much.
Yeah.
So as you were talking about who you are and your journey, I really wanted to hone in a little bit on your siren sorcery and your connection to working with sirens, especially in these spaces where you are a chthonic witch, a chaos witch.
Mhm.
Whenever I think of sirens, I always think of like sunshine, rainbows, beach, sand, all these glamour, and all of these different things. But then when I think of Persephone and Hades being chthonic deities or their chthonic aspects, how do you merge and harmonize those energies together? Or is there something I'm missing about sirens? Like how do you bridge that gap?
So, um, Sirens were the handmaidens of Persephone, and we talked a little bit about that in our Persephone episode, but not a whole lot.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
but sirens were actually there's a couple stories. It's either like Demeter plucked their wings, which I think that's the story that we did in that episode. There's also another
Yes,
story
yes.
where the muses pluck the sirens' wings, and so they become depicted with tails. Um, so I relate to that. I relate to that. Because I'm constantly trying to escape to the swamp. I think everybody who
Yeah.
knows me knows since I was a little girl, I've always been trying to escape to the swamp. I don't think people think about sirens in a swamp or a river, just the ocean, but I've had
Yeah.
connection to the ocean, don't get me wrong, but for me, like, sirens are very much a local land spirit.
Mm.
That being said, I do work with local siren energies, I would say, and spirits. I would 100% believe there's spirits all around me. But I do consult with a person called a conjurer, and I'm not going to give too many details on that because it's really personal. But I actually have, I guess you would call like a community, not big, obviously, but like a little team, like a little community of sirens that I speak to like one on one, and
Yeah.
there's a group of them, and they each have different personalities. Um, some are more fierce and protective, and can be baneful. Um, some are a little more love and light, but I will say none of them are just love and light, like not a single one. Um, but yeah, I they have their own altar. I give them offerings of incense mostly when I'm at home. And then I also give them like salt water and but what I really like to do is go there and actually like speak with them. So what I like to do with my sounds the most is like word witchery. Um there's such a good book on word witchery by Kate Blue. So good. It's like unrelated, but if you like poems and you're a witch, you would like that book. But anyways, poetry means a lot to me, and I use it a lot in my spell work. And when I am doing poetry, I call on them for number one because they're so creative and they just inspire me so much because I think everything I do has a touch of siren in it, whether I notice or not. Like with Persephone, when I started working with her, I did not know until way later that
Yeah.
her handmaidens were sirens. It all just seems like to come back to that. Um, but
So
yeah, and no, go ahead.
how do you harmonize those energies? Like, is it that you work
Mhm.
with the sirens and Hades and Persephone together, or is it 2 separate spaces? Like, how do you kind of balance the 2?
Yeah. Okay. So mostly it is two separate. But I will
Okay.
say, I do work with Persephone and the Sirens together in my glamours, domination magic, protection magic. I work with them together because I find that when I invoke them both at the same time, they're very, very familiar with her energy and
Yeah.
they work well together. And Persephone, I think, also appreciates it. And it's like a community, and it's like another added element, and it makes me think about how we talk about the muses a lot and how it would look
Yeah.
like if we worked with Persephone and the muses at the same time. And if you
Or
can imagine
Apollo
that,
and the
yeah,
Muses.
if you can imagine that, that's how it feels like working with Persephone and the sirens at the same time, because at the end of the day, Persephone is the siren herself, because
Yeah.
she is the one whose voice matters in the underworld and it's
Yeah.
listened to, and it draws them in.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Hades. Come
So now I want to kind of gear towards Lady Persephone. Um, and we talked a little bit about this of like your own journey. But I wanted to kind of get a little bit more information and insight on you and the way in which you balance your shadow and light. So when we look at Persephone, she's both the goddess of the spring, but she's also the queen of the underworld. She carries both spaces of chthonia, of death, of maturation, all these different things. And then with the goddess of spring, it's fertility, it's growth, it's so having those different spaces and different shadows of Persephone, of her aspects.
her
How do
worldly versus her
you
chthonic, you could say.
Yeah, yes, her worldly versus her chthonic. I love that. How do you balance both aspects of her and integrate them in your own life? Like how do you engage in both your universal or your worldly and your chthonic?
Yeah, so for sure. I think that's very seasonal for me,
Yeah.
100%. I think I naturally flow with the seasons, like, on my own, and, I think that's what draw me to Persephone the most. She's like a mirror for me in so many aspects, like, I literally could not tell you in this whole podcast. Um, so I think for the easiest way for me to explain it to you is to go by the seasons in order. Okay, so in the springtime, I do, um work with her core aspect. I find oftentimes she is missing Hades, of course, but I think that she very much enjoys her independence and frolicking and basking in her creations in spring. So I feel really inspired during spring. Me and Persephone work on a lot of like creativity magic, and lately thanks to Emma and her transformation spell, I've been feeling a lot of
Yeah.
that this spring. And with like honestly, I've probably just been noticing it more. But I've always loved plants my whole life. But like my local flora is like insane this year. And Persephone's presence in the south is very much here. I'm like, am I in Greece?
Like, excuse
Like
me?
Like, the flowers, like, at just the most perfect times of the year. Okay, so, like, our daffodils last probably, like, from mid-February to, like, March, kind of the beginning of March, not long, and I feel like it kind of, we live in a tropical climate, so it's
Oh.
kinda the same, and it's just so on par, and she's like, "Okay, my daffodils are up, and they're dying, and I've already picked them, and now we're moving on to these hibiscus over here, and we're gonna
Yeah.
get ready for the
Yes.
summer." And so that's how she makes me feel, and so summer rolls around, and I'm really feeling glamour magic with her, and we work invisibility magic with her. And that's kind of like my own UPG, just because I feel that fiery energy from her that
Yeah.
does combine the Corey with the underworld aspect because she is a mature woman. And that
Mhm.
fire is still in there, and I think she starts feeling it during the summer, and I wouldn't doubt it if she goes and visits Hades during the summer because I will say, during the summer, I do feel Hades a lot. I feel Hades a lot just as much in the summer as I do in the winter. I don't know what's up about that. That's my own UPG. I don't know. Weird. But, maybe I'll do some divination on that. And so after summer comes fall, and then I feel Persephone like kind of basking in the fruits of her labor, especially in the south, because we still have a bunch of greenery. The crops are growing, the pumpkins look gorgeous. We still have nothing's dying. So usually as soon as it gets like 40 degrees, it's still greenery out, but like it'll immediately die. So like she is ready to go back to her man's. So during the fall time, I like the cozy giving gratitude. During the fall, I give gratitude the most to her and Hades, and that's more than magic I do, is just more, not magic, just devotion time. Because there's seasons
Yeah.
that I don't do magic with them all the time. I mean, there's a time for rest for everything. Um, so during the fall, I feel like I'm prepping for their homecoming, but it kind of is their homecoming because like
Mhm.
our fall and winter is like doo doo. And
Yep.
so like I'm really like in tune more with my local seasons and
Than
them
anything, okay.
than anything. And then in the
Yeah.
winter, of course, shadow work.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
No
That's when we
notes, just
rest
shadow work.
and
Yeah,
just that's it.
yeah.
That's all.
Hmm.
The tears come. That's awesome. I love that, I love that. I never like, there are the traditional spaces of, the seasons and Hades and Persephone, of when Hades
Hmm.
leaves to Demeter when she comes back, um, and so but I never thought to plan out different practices and devotional spaces, not only for them, but also, like, to honor myself and my cycles, and so I think it's
And
really cool that you do that.
I know you think it's really cool that I do that, and I'm such a genius, whatever. No, it's for real. It really is. Like all jokes aside, she, I give her full reign to make me feel that way. She's 100%
Yeah,
working through me. I
yeah,
think I ask for advice and on like what I should do, and it just aligns. It really does align. And I
yeah,
think like when you, oh my gosh, I cannot wait for you and Persephone. Like by this time, I feel
I
like
know.
it's just like right there. Like you'll feel it. You'll feel like
I
what
know,
you
and
need to
I'm
do
starting
because
we
she's like
had
a
a
mirror, and she's
conversation.
like that for so
Yeah,
many devotees. Like I'm not the only one,
yeah.
and yours, I won't. I don't doubt it would be the same for you.
I We had a conversation earlier of, like, Hades has been, like, all up on it, like, chatting,
Mm,
like, not chatting, but, like, connecting, and I'm been feeling his energy a lot more, and, like, I keep on looking at my kitchen because I have a little spot where I wanna put a table, and I keep looking at my kitchen, and I'm like, "This was gonna be my," like, I was gonna make, like, a working altar, and I'm most likely gonna make a Hades Persephone
you're
altar
gonna
because 'cause I'm just like, I I think I'm getting to that point in my practice that I can engage more and devote more because I mean that's what Hellenistic polytheism is. But engaging and building my devotion with Santa Muerte, it's taking more of my time, which I love, which I'm so excited about. And so now as I'm starting to rebalance again and
Mhm.
have more spaces, now I'm like, okay, we can kind of get back to that connection because now I've made a dedicated space for
Yeah.
Santissima certain times that I work with her, and, like, I work with her throughout the day, but, like, certain moments of prayer, and so, like, yeah, no, I know, it's gonna happen. So,
We have all these deities knocking on our doors.
I know, and I'm like, right, like, this summertime is for Lord Apollo, okay? Lord Apollo and Lady Aphrodite, that's what the summertime is. He made it very clear, and that's totally fine. That's what we're doing. Um, So talking about this, like, because like even right now, like as I'm talking of connecting with Greek deities as well as connecting with a Catholic folk saint, like having these spaces, I've had to learn to adapt a lot. I had to learn how to engage and being able to make very firm boundaries of how I connect with different deities, because there is that structure. So I think my next question for you is really about the way in which you structure yourself, because we are chaos witches. Um, do you feel like your devotion to Hades and Persephone and your sirens, do you feel like it's more open or more traditional and structured? And how do you really navigate that? Like, how do you navigate working with deities that are a bit more structured in spaces of chaos?
Mhm. I think my work with sirens is a little more chaotic. I do incorporate like older works of art for them, like as offerings. I read them older poems, I stuff like that. And Angelica Crazy actually like got me kind of into um looking into like sirens of lore, and like maybe I haven't yet, but maybe I'll invoke them and give them an offering and do something with
That'd
them
be
soon.
amazing.
Yeah,
Angelica Cresci Siren Core class.
yeah,
I just
so
started it
good.
and I'm like, oof, oh my gosh,
It's
10 out
so
of
good.
fucking 10. She's
Mhm.
literally amazing. As you were saying, sorry, you just said that and I was like, oh my gosh, her Siren Core
No,
class, insane.
no, for real. So I haven't done a PGM spill, but I have bought services from other people, and I really do want to myself. I think it's a little expensive for me right now, but if I had all the money in the world, not for real. If I could, honestly though, if I could afford it, I would be doing it right now. And if I
Yeah,
didn't have so much of a chronic illness, like I would be doing it right now. I
yeah.
buy products. Um, I bought like 3 different PGM spells and had them like, sent to me, like, the materials, or I'm having them sent to me. And, we'll talk about that later. And, just, like, also things like that. I'm
Yeah.
more drawn to that kinda stuff, but I feel like in my everyday, it's more chaos
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. No, I get that. I think bridging,
Mhm.
like literally connecting both, because I want to work with the PGM and I want to work specifically
It's definitely
in
both.
with like Aphrodite and Lord Apollo. Like I want to so bad.
Mhm.
Um it just I want to learn a lot more.
Me
And so I
too.
get
I
that of
think
just like,
that's a
yeah.
Yeah, before I do it, and it's a lot of supplies, and also I don't have, like, a big space right now. I think when I get a bigger space,
Mhm.
I'll definitely be doing it.
That
Yeah.
too, cuz like I wanna be able to chant. I wanna be able to chant so loud, and
Yeah.
I'm like, not I can't go outside and do this.
Mhm.
I live in an apartment, but, like,
If I had the
once
choice,
I
I would be
do,
doing it.
yeah, once I do, whew, nobody's gonna stop me. You guys are gonna hear me chanting in the highways and the byways, I don't care. Ugh. So, my next question, um is really about learning lessons because I mean that's what we do in this spiritual journey, like in any practice, whether you would consider yourself an occultist, a witch, a practitioner, a spiritualist, any kind of practice that you are in, even just like a human doing human things, we're always learning lessons. that's
Mhm.
that's a part of our journey. And so for you specifically, when it comes to working with Hades, working with Persephone, working with sirens, what is the most profound lesson that they have taught you about yourself?
That's a really good question because honestly, I think I can answer it with one across the board for all of them.
Yeah.
Um, Starting with the sirens, of course, but Hades was my breakthrough. He said, "Oh, you wanna use your voice? Let's turn this shit up. Oh, you want that
Yeah.
job? Let's go get it. I got it. Oh, you wanna move? Just wait. You need to buckle the fuck up
Yeah.
because your life
Yeah.
is about to start moving before your brain can even keep up because it's what you're destined for." And I think I knew that already, but I needed to hear it from someone who like I respect so much. Like, it kinda
Yeah.
makes me emotional, and I didn't it's, like, almost like I didn't believe
Yeah.
it until I don't know, and sometimes I still don't believe it, but he is a good counselor.
Yeah. He
And so
is.
he taught me how to use my voice. The sirens demand of me that I use my voice, and Persephone is my mirror. I have no option but to use my voice. because that is
Yeah.
my devotion to her.
Yeah. I love how you are being so vulnerable about, like, sometimes I don't believe it, and, like, imposter syndrome is real.
Mhm.
Imposter syndrome, especially in a world that is striving for hopelessness, sometimes it's really hard to keep faith, and having that vulnerability and being honest about, like, sometimes it's really, really hard to have faith and have
Mhm.
belief, and it is what we do with that. It's how we navigate those spaces of hopelessness, um, because at the end of the day, it's natural. It's a natural human experience to have. We are literally living in a society that is feeding off of that, of
Yeah.
hopelessness, and
Yeah.
so for those of you who are practitioners and who are engaging in deity work, ancestor work, anything of that nature that is calling you to have faith and you don't, or there are moments where you struggle, that's normal. And
Yeah.
that's nothing to be ashamed of. That's nothing to feel embarrassed by. It is a natural part of our journey to question in order for us to keep learning and also for us to surrender because that's also what it's about. It's like I don't have control over everything. And there's some things
Mhm.
that I have to surrender and just have the faith and the hope that things are going to be okay.
Yeah.
And so
And when
I
I
really,
don't, and
really,
when Hades tells me that, and when I don't, he's like, "Girl, you need to sit
you
down."
need to get
And
your
I'm
shit
like,
together. Yeah.
"Okay."
Yeah, go touch some fucking grass. But I really, really do appreciate you saying that because a lot of people are really scared of talking about that. Like, it's very taboo sometimes of like, "What do you mean? You don't believe? You don't" It's like, "No, but that happens." We're
Yeah.
human. It sometimes we don't even believe in ourselves, and
Yeah.
that's our journey. And so I really do appreciate you talking about that because not a lot of people want to be honest about those things, but we need to be because
Mhm.
there are so many of us in our community that feel ashamed by it, but there's
Yeah.
nothing to be ashamed about because it's our experiences
Mhm.
and we grow from them. So thank you
Yeah.
for that.
No. Yeah.
So I'm here for the toxicity. I'm gonna ask you some questions and I want some tea. So you were talking about glamour, you were talking about domination. I know that you are a glamour witch. You engage in these attractions, abundances, indulgences. I have a question for you. It's a
Mhm.
moral and
Yeah.
ethics question. Do you believe there is such thing as ethical and unethical glamour, domination, and attraction magic? And how has this path for you? So it's a two-parter. How has this path in glamour, domination, attraction, and all these different spaces changed the way in which you see desire, consent, and personal power?
So I guess we can talk about when it started. Probably when I found out that my grandma couldn't on a bank account, and also that we were just able to vote in the 70s. So I think any glamour magic is ethical
Yeah,
because I'm on this planet to take what I deserve, and I deserve it. There's a difference between parasitic magic and glamour magic, and there's no room in glamour magic for that. With that being said, any kind of magic at the end of the day, like getting a job, say for instance, that's domination magic in my eyes.
uh,
You're I mean, you're kind of like, somebody else is applying for that job. You're still in that job. But you know why? You shouldn't feel bad about it. It's not unethical because you need that job. You need to eat. You need to survive. Glamour magic isn't about beauty. It's about protection and it's about getting what you want. But not only what you want, it's what you deserve. And it's to meet your needs. And it's to put food in your mouth. And it's to
yeah,
put food in your soul.
yeah. I
Yeah.
love that, and we talked about it before in our, like, Valentine's Day special of, like, how glamour magic and love magic was
Hmm.
used as a form of protection,
Yeah.
in the early, like, 80s, 70s, 60s. It was a way in which for women to protect themselves when they were put in marriages that were
Hmm.
not safe or
Exactly.
comfortable, sweetening jars, things of that nature, so, like, I see exactly where you're coming from,
Or even a veil to not, like, to not be seen. Even that, I
yeah,
wear glamours with Hades, like, for things to not be seen. Not necessarily to hide away, but just because you want to put forth something that, I don't know, somebody's too idiotic to see, so you need to. show them
Yeah,
the
you
version
gotta
that
yeah, yeah.
you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And,
I get that.
I think that's yeah, the premise of it.
No, I love that. Yeah. Yeah, I get that. So it's really just like energy is neutral in a way,
Mhm.
and
It
we
dep
decide
it
what we do
depends on
with
what you
it.
do with it, yeah.
Yeah, like,
Because at that point, if it's unethical glamour, you're doing a whole different thing, you're not doing glamour magic.
yeah. And so you feel like it's named a totally completely different thing.
Mhm. Yeah. I feel like if you're saying, like, well, that's unethical, like, you're glamoring yourself to, like, get what you want and dominate and do da 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 da. Oh, well, I deserve it, bitch, so sorry. And if a woman in the '70s wanted to do some glamour magic out of oppression, I think she's okay. To get to
I
I
think
don't
she's
know,
okay.
charm herself a debit card.
She just wanted fucking voting rights.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. I feel like in any magic, like even when we were talking about like money magic, like I think it's truly the energy that you pour into. And
Yeah,
like
yeah.
at the end of the day, if you just want to be a good person and like be a decent person and just like live your life, but you really need that job or you really need an extra couple $100 to pay some bills. Like it really depends on the energy that you're putting forth. We've
Mhm.
said this again. We've said this once. We'll say it twice. We'll say it 3 billion times. There's no fucking such thing as black and white magic. There's no
Yeah.
such thing as like, and I don't mean like evil in ancient times. I mean like this idea of certain witchcraft like being evil and dark and black and all these different things. It is neutral.
That
It is
verbiage is
the
rooted in racism.
you know, yeah, exactly, and so we need to change the language that we use of just like, we are neutral. Energy is neutral. The universe is neutral. What are we putting into it?
Yeah.
Are we doing things with our highest intention and highest good or self in mind? Or are we doing this in a space of parasiticism and manipulation? Like what and it's more that than it is a specific magic. And I think
Mhm.
a lot of this is stemming from fear, but also lack of knowledge. It is okay to just say you don't really know, but you've heard it from
Yeah.
here, you heard it from there. So learn. So learn, ask
Mhm.
questions. We don't know everything. Girl, I'm sitting here now, I'm about to research a couple things. I'm like, "Oh, okay, so plucking feathers off sirens to turn into mermaids." Like, we're gonna research. We are in an active space of learning. We are always students, and so I really appreciate you taking this time, Abby, to talk about who you are and how you got into this space because it's so important. Like, we need to recognize even us hosting this podcast, we are learners. We teach, sure, the things that we are knowledgeable about. I'm so excited to teach some more. But also, as we're doing that, we are simultaneously learning from the world, learning from experience, learning from documentation, but also learning from you guys. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, like, do you have anything else you'd like to say, Abby?
No, that's all. I feel like I've been, like, venting this whole episode, like, "Who is she?"
I'm like, "Oh my god, wait a minute, she says more than 5 words? Oh shit,
Yeah.
okay, let's go, hell yeah." So, siren songs. What's your siren song today, Miss Siren Sorcery?
Mine is, "Times Like These" by Addison Rae.
Ooh, okay, we got some Addison, we start Ethel Kane, Lana
Mhm.
Del Rey, now we are Addison. Alright, you go, per queen. Mine is okay. I have had a hyperfixation. I am neurodivergent. So I don't know if
I
you
feel
can
like I know
tell.
who you're gonna say.
So I have been obsessed with watching Epic, which is the retelling of the Odyssey, but it's animated and it's a musical, and I watched it 4 times this week. It's so good, it makes me cry. Like, honestly, I bawl my eyes, especially the last song, and it's called "Would You Fall in Love with Me Again?" And this is Odysseus and Penelope, and, like, the grief. Man hasn't seen his wife in 20 years. Wife hasn't seen her man in 20 years. Penelope just literally wants to be happy and have peace, and all these motherfuckers are trying to mess with her. And finally, her man comes back. He starts murdering bitches left and right, and he comes in and tries to tell her, "I don't know if you'll love me anymore." She's like, "Bitch, remain chaste for you. I've been sitting here." in this fucking town, minding my fucking business, protecting your fucking throne, taking care of your fucking kid, and you have the audacity to tell me that you don't know if if I still love you.
Oh
Uh,
my gosh, yeah.
she says it, yeah, she says it a
That's
lot more
funny.
gracefully than I did, but literally, I was watching the first time I watched it, I was eating salmon and rice, and when she started going off on him, salmon fell from my mouth because I was so flabbergasted and physical chills. And so, if you have not, it's a retelling. It's a retelling, and it's also like very cool animation from so many different people. So it's more on the basis of the music, and the artistry is so cool. But I will say, like, I 1,000,000,000% recommend it. It is called Epic the Musical, and it's the Odyssey retelling. But the song, like that song, no words could describe the emotions I felt. Ugh. So, Abby, you're pulling cards for
I'm up.
us.
Yep. Already got them. Hang on 1 second.
Oh, snap. What cards are you using today?
I'm using the Fedor Pavlov deck. It's really
Ooh, that's a
cute.
new one that you got.
They're a tattoo artist and they created this deck and I love it so much. It's kind
You
of like a
showed me and it
Rider
was so
Waite, but
pretty.
it's like way better.
Yeah, it's
It's
more
not
twisty.
kind. It's a little, but wait.
That's the one. Oh, yes, that's the one that has some like more queer artistry.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I love those. Those are beautiful.
Um, that's crazy. I gotta go. Um, the Wheel of Fortune. This one's cute.
That's beautiful.
I feel like it's saying that we have all these choices.
Yeah.
I want to do a confirming card.
Do it.
We have all these choices, but we're unsure of ourselves. I got the Emperor reverse second. I think that we are a lot more than we are. I've asked for a reading for the collective, but I feel like it's kind of calling me out. But I think the Wheel of Fortune is like we do have all of these good opportunities, but we're a little self-deprecative.
I agree. I agree. That just don't be calling me out, girl.
You
Yeah,
guys just
stop
made me
calling me
feel
out.
better.
Yeah. That was supposed to be a collective reading, and I guess Abby doesn't know that, and so she's calling people out like a little
And
asshole.
me and myself.
Yeah, that ass. So we have to stop being self-deprecating, and we have to stop self-sabotaging
Hmm.
because the wheel is in our favor. We have options. So stop it. Ugh.
Yeah.
And one of your options will make it so easy for you is to follow us, subscribe, join our Patreon. You like how I did that?
Hmm.
So we have so many different ways of connecting with us. We have TikTok, we have Instagram, we have YouTube, we have Patreon, we are on Spotify, Apple Music, and so you can find us anywhere. Also, if you have any questions or topics, or if you have any spooky stories, anything like that, you can send us emails too. We are catabasascultura at gmail.com, at catabasascultura, at catabasascultura1. And please feel free to connect. This is a space of community. In order to be community, we want to hear more from you guys. We want to hear more insight questions, and also like just give us the things that you've learned, and we want to learn from you. But yeah, anything else, Abby?
No, but y'all are about to be so excited for all the interviewers we got coming up. Oh my god.
I know. Oh
There's
my gosh.
literally
Literally the
seven.
next
Seven.
Yeah, the next 2 months are going to be silly goofy.
Yep.
We were like, "Are we girl bossing too far from the sun right now or too close to the sun right now?" Because like, what are you talking about? The
The
amount
people we're
of
having there are just
creators
gonna be
is
phenomenal.
yeah, like, we've already had so many incredible guests, and now we're gonna be increasing and having more guests that you guys I'm so excited to have these spaces with them and to like, learn from them. But yeah, girl, you right, like, we did not girl boss. too far from or too close to the sun. Okay, we actually need to girl boss more. But yeah, so I am Kim,
And I'm happy.
and this is
Calabasas.
Cultura. Have a good night, everyone.